Hello everyone. A lot of people ask me what decks I would recommend you to play or what are fun decks to play the Legend these days. So I wanted to give you a little bit of an update after the patch of what decks I think are interesting and good to play if you want to get to Legend or if you just want to try out something new. I have a little bit of an Easter egg at the end of the video where I will show you a personal favorite of mine. I can't guarantee that it's perfect, but it'll definitely be interesting to play and something new for you to try out. Alright, let's get right to it. I want to have a little bit of a look at the most prominent new decks, stuff that is new to try out. Firstly, I have the Aggro Mage, which I've made a little bit of a short guide on. I'll link that in the description as well. Aggro Mage is a very aggressive deck, as the name already says it, and it does especially well when there's a lot of rogues, miracle rogues, as your opponent. So this is one of the decks that has been doing super well in Super High Legend. It even has the burst damage with frozen touches to be able to output enough damage to survive some of the control decks, even if they're not super prevalent in the meta. Together with Egwin and all the burst damage cards, you have a lot of damage over time. And that already brings us to another deck that has survived several nerfs, and that is, of course, Miracle Rogue. Miracle Rogue has now gone back to dropping the nulls again. You just can't make them cheap at all because you don't play any Burgle cards, really. And we're slotting in Necrolord Draka together with Mailbog Dancer back into the slots that we had taken out. And because we're kind of lacking the nulls as removal, we now also play another Serrated Bone Spike, which lets us also combo our turns a little bit harder. The playstyle of the deck is a little bit different, but I'll probably make another video of that in 2 days from now on updating you how to play Miracle Rogue with the new style again. Then we have a super new addition that has been first piloted by Otsuna, which has been super successful for a lot of people in Heroic Tavern Brawl and seems like a fun and new deck that's definitely worth trying out. And that one is Unholy Death Knight. And Unholy Death Knight is something that we haven't really seen before because it's always lacking in power level. And this is just a really new, fun, interesting deck to try out because it plays out a little bit different. It plays a little bit like an aggro druid, and then it has a Grave Strength as one of your finishers. But most of the games you win actually by getting a Harkstrider on board and then being able to play any minions. Especially a Harkstrider on board, followed up by Nerubian Swarmer as an extremely powerful pool, which will then afterwards also protect your Harkstrider Rancher and give you the opportunity to snowball your board a little. One deck that is very powerful against the Unholy Death Knight, which tries to go on board very early, very wide, is Frost Death Knight. Frost Death Knight has also risen in popularity and has also gone up quite high in win rate. It does contest the Unholy DK early by playing cards like Frozen Touch and Bonebreaker, which are very successful with dealing with the early board, while drawing cards together with Harbinger and Chill Fallen Baron. Those are good cards for you to be having in the early game. Like on turn 4, we want to play like Lady Death Whisper, and then in the later parts of the game, if the Unholy Death Knight has grabbed the board, we will now use Frostworm's Fury to freeze their board and keep them from hitting us in the face while pushing damage, to then follow it up with a final push of burst cards like Howling Blast or Glacial Advance to the opponent's face and killing them because they can't really do that much if we board lock. So we have Frost DK, we have Unholy DK, we have Aggro Mage, we have Miracle Rogue, and then I want to mention 2 more decks. I'll go 6 decks this time. We have Evolved Shaman, which a lot of people had a lot of success with. This deck's a little bit older. I won't go too much into detail with it. But of course, being able to make some early minions with evolving your gold channels into other 10 drops is super effective and can be really fun. And then we have Phylactery Warlock. Phylactery Warlock does really well against a decent amount of aggro decks, and it does really well, especially against Aggro Mage and Frost Demon DK, because you have a lot of healing. You have your kill together with the Naval Mines that will eventually kill your opponent, together with the Devourant Souls. Combos can be made pretty early, and you have a decent amount of heal and sustain, so you can take away their boards and then you can heal up together with Drain Soul, Touch, and especially cards like Mistress of Mixture. The most important card in the mulligan for this deck is the Rune Mithril Rod, which will get you through the early game, but I'll also make a little bit on a guide on this one later before the mini set. And now to the little Easter egg, the last deck that I had some fun with. that you kind of have to try at your own risk is a 40 card deck. I took this from a Chinese player called Old Mid Doctor, and actually finished top 10 in Legend with this deck in the previous season when a lot of people were playing aggro decks in Rogue. So I played this deck. It's lots of fun. You use Undying Allies and all your undead cards to make like really interesting boards, and then with Bone Caller and High Cultist you resurrect them, and if you play against combo decks like Druid, you try to resummon Plague Spreaders again and again and take away the win condition. But other than that, you try to control the board and then make a big board swing with Undying Allies and especially cards like Spirit Guide, and resurrect everything and then hit your opponent in the face. Hope you guys are all going to find a deck that you guys really like in here. Hope there's something in there that suits every playstyle, and hope to see you guys on stream. Always remember that you're valuable and you matter, and you have a good day.